On today's episode of Welding and Wheeling, we work on / break a snowblower that was returned to me off Facebook Marketplace. We then use it to snowblow my backyard for whatever reason. And then lastly, we finish off the video with absolutely obliterating my backyard with all sorts of vehicles like the Attex, the blisteringly slow coot, and we even break out the mini Jeep for the first time ever. This thing has never seen snow because it took me all winter last year to build it. And sadly, it does not do that good. But at least Piggy has a lot of fun running around in the snow. Good day, everybody. If you have a keen memory, you may remember this machine. We picked it up in a couple episodes back in a trifecta deal on Marketplace. In the same day, we bought 3 items. We bought this, I think, for $85. I bought a Yamaha Big Bear, which I ended up trading for this 4-wheeler and 4 other 4-wheelers after the video, and an old worn winch. So this is the focus of today's video. I sold this machine after that video because it was a good runner and I didn't need it. And it's back. Like 4 months after I sold it, the fella reached out on Marketplace, on Messenger actually, and it was the first snow of the season, and he was quite unhappy because this thing ran like crap apparently, or barely ran according to him. Now it sounded very similar to the issue it had when I picked it up that I thought we had figured out, which I thought at the time was just the float had sunk when it sat and filled the oil up with fuel, and then it caused it to backfire because it was coming up, I guess, through the breather. Not entirely sure, but we seemed to solve that with a carb clean and a fresh oil change. And then we ran it for over an hour in my backyard and I didn't have any issues and sold it as a good running machine. Well, lo and behold, several months of sitting later, it's developed the same problem again. It's a little different though. It doesn't seem like it's fuel in the oil. I don't know what's going on with this thing. After the guy dropped it back off, which I usually would not agree to, but since it sounded like the same issue, I went out on a limb and decided to take the machine back and gave the guys money back. I'm kind of annoyed to discover the electric start doesn't work anymore. I don't know what's going on there. I'm wondering if that issue could be combined, maybe. And what I mean by that, I'll talk about later. For now, let me get you guys caught up to speed and see if we can get this thing to fire up so we're all on the same page of what's going on here. And that's all it does. Even after it seems to warm up, it still runs like that. So the first thing we're going to check is a very simple thing that could have happened when the new owner took a hold of it and tried to use it for the first time. I had a tractor once that, in all my infinite wisdom, like 10 years ago, I accidentally ran kerosene in it. And this reminds me a lot of that. It would run, but barely. So let's go ahead and see if we can take a fuel sample and see what's in the tank. All right, well, the fuel smells okay. It smells like gas. I don't remember how much gas I sold it with. Like I said, that was multiple months ago. I would assume I probably ran it out or close to it because I knew the guy was going to store it till winter. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and drain it all out through the carb anyway and put some fresh gas in there, just so we can make sure that that is not the issue and move on to other forms of diagnostics. All right, we drained it all off. I drained it into a kind of dirty cup, so you can't really tell the quality of the fuel that well. We'll go ahead and fire it up and see if there's any difference. Not seeing much of a difference yet. I think I saw Okay, I'm gonna hook up the electric start and show you guys what's going on there. Then we'll move on to my next assumption. Okay, well, now that works fine. Yeah, so it does that sometimes. Okay. All right, well, initially I thought the starter had completely quit, and I was kind of thinking that maybe the flywheel keyway had broken, and our flywheel was floating back and forth, and that was leading to a bad engagement with the starter. That would also explain why it's running so crappy, because it was getting a different ignition timing. But seems like the starter's just going bad, because we were able to tap on that a little bit with the hammer, and that worked. But that weird time, or that last time it fired up, it sounded a lot happier. I'm going to put a little bit more fuel in it and see what happens. That's so weird. It's very inconsistent. It seemed to like when I played with my ignition switch here. I wonder if that has something to do with it. Ha! All right, it's the next morning. So obviously we didn't figure out our issue easily last night like I was hoping. It was just going to be that gas. So I went ahead and pulled the pull cord cover off because I got to repair it anyway. And I wanted to check in on one of my hunches, which was that possibly the flywheel sets, or not set screw, but the keyway had come undone, allowing this to move freely. I don't think that's the case. It still feels nice and tight. It's moving with the bolt. It's a possibility still. I mean, I don't really want to tear all the housings off this thing. So for now, we're going to pause on that and move over and do a compression test. We also have the valve cover popped off here. The valves feel okay. We might have to do some adjusting there, but let's do a compression test first. That seems awfully low, huh? All right, so I was just screwing around. I put a little bit of oil down in the cylinder because I forgot to in my initial compression test. And cranking it over, we got it to 50, but no higher. And I was cranking it over, watching the valves work down here. And all of a sudden it spiked to like 120 PSI. I don't know if it's going to do it again or not. That's weird. Okay, after some thinking, this does have some sort of compression release. I think it's just like a ground spot into the cam, and once the engine gets spinning fast enough, it gets past the compression release. I don't know completely how it works. Haven't dealt with a compression release like that. I usually only deal with the manual ones on four-wheelers and dirt bikes and things. Not too sure what's going on there, but we have plenty of compression when it jumps up, that's for sure. So we're going to move on from that. The valves seem okay. We might get into adjusting those later, but with keeping with the theme of trying the simple things, I went ahead and cleaned up the spark plug, which, new tool in the shop, we have a spark plug cleaner. Now, thanks to my mom, she got me this for Christmas. It's supposed to hang on the wall. Sooner or later, I'll get around to doing that. Then you just plunge the little spark plug in there and hook it up to air, and you basically sandblast it. It does a pretty good job. I'm impressed. A little bit on the backside we missed. So let's go ahead and get that in and see how it acts. All right, we still got the valve cover off, so it's going to spray oil everywhere probably. But let's go ahead and see if it starts. I have a hunch it might. All right, we went ahead and replaced the pull cord. Pretty easy. You pop this center bolt off, pull the cover off. You can pull the whole plastic housing off. The spring stays on the bottom. We rewound it. I didn't think it was worth showing. I don't know what's up with this thing. Now it runs fine. Was it really just a foul plug? I find that hard to believe. Now, prior to doing this video, when I first got this thing back from the guy, I pulled the valve cover, checked the valves. They were both a little loose. We tightened them up, adjusted them up properly. They weren't that far off. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, the machine did probably sit for 3 or 4 months, and then he went to go start it, and it didn't want to start, and he got upset and returned it. So, who knows? Maybe it was all just a foul plug. Anyway, let's get this pull cord back on, running around the backyard, and see what's what. All right, well, I don't know what to make of this thing. It seems to run fine now. It's really happy. Was it really just a fouled plug? Or maybe the valves were slightly out of adjustment, fouled plug, and questionable fuel altogether? Because that was the only 3 things we did to this thing. Either way, it seems happy, but I need to go ahead and find a new starter for it. We'll find that, and then I'm going to keep it for at least a snowstorm or 2 to make sure it really does perform well before I sell it again. We finally got some of that stuff you use to test snowblowers. I should have drugged this thing inside last night, but let's see how it does starting up in the snowbank. Well, while I was coming around the garage, I figured I'd just go ahead and blow a quick path for the dogs. Of course, I found the dog leash that I forgot about. we just go ahead and reach in there and get it out of there? Just kidding. I'll shut it off first. All right, let's see what else we can find on my driveway now. I think we're good to go. It seems to run just fine. I'm gonna go ahead and shut my camera off now before you guys critique my snow blowing abilities. Well, I figure you guys probably don't care to watch me snow blow my whole driveway for the next 20 minutes. What you might care to watch is me absolutely destroy my yard for 20 minutes. That little Attex fired up. I think that was pretty good for being cold. It's 10 degrees today. I guess that J-Lo Rockwell is a snowmobile engine after all. I'm gonna let it warm up and we'll see how it does out in the snow, I guess. Pretty tough to see anything in this snow. Wow, this thing's kicking up even more snow. Come on, baby. Ah, gotta grab the jump pack. This thing's sort of a pain to hook the jump pack up to because the battery's like under the floorboard. So you guys can't see anything. Well, just know I'm struggling. All right, there we go. Let's try that. Oh man, is the jump pack dead now? I think it is. If only there was a pull start on this. The investment into those kind of expensive recoil parts is seeming kind of worth it right now. Ow. Oh, I also have the choke on. I meant to shut that off. I would love to do a lot more, but this thing just absolutely destroys the grass, even under the snow. So we're going to change to a different vehicle. Thankfully, I've got a few of those around, huh? All right, vehicle number 2 out in the snow is going to be the boat. Just kidding. It's going to be the mini Jeep, which has an equally as dead battery.
I don't know what it is about batteries around here, but I just love to kill them. Been charging while we were riding the Attex around though, so let's see if it'll fire now. All right, well the camera died, but it did actually fire up after only a few minutes of charging, so that's sweet. I've never had this thing out in the snow. The rear tires are kind of bald, and I don't have the chain on for four-wheel drive, so I don't expect much, but we'll see. Well, we had a casualty. That's the shifter. We don't have a shifter anymore. You kind of have to yam on this thing to get it between gears right now because the belt is too tight. And I guess the starter, or the shifter, had enough of that. This also seems to not have nearly enough weight in the front, so it doesn't want to steer at all. So that's fun. All right, new camera. Got our new shifter here. That's good for the transmission. Yeah, man. Not enough fuel? What's the problem? Oh, great. Lovely. At the bottom of the yard, it shuts off. What is your deal? All right, we're just going to idle to the top of the yard until it figures itself out, which I'm surprised it can do. That's because it can't. Okay, what's going on here? Too low on fuel? Oh yeah, our fuel valve's off. What a concept. All right, hopefully we have that figured out. Ain't got no gas in it. Well, we got tires. Come on, little doggy. There we go. Are you enjoying this? Yeah? Okay. All right, well, we've pretty properly destroyed the yard. But I got one more little fella that wants to come out and play. Actually, a big fella compared to the others. This is my coot. It's chilling under my back porch here, and it was the stand for my boat kit when it came. I haven't started this thing up in months. Let's see if it'll fire. I bet the battery's dead like everything else. All right, I had enough forethought to unhook the battery. That's good. Oh, there's a chance. All right, what kind of fuel situation we got here? There's a little down in there, not a whole lot. Let's get that turned on. Oh, fuel valve stuck. There we go. Gotta check the oil. All right, we got oil. I clicked the choke on. Let's see if she'll die out of life. Oh, yeah. All right, we'll let it warm up for a half an hour and then we'll try and take it for a spin. Forgot how hard it is to get in and out of this thing, especially when you're wearing cowboy boots in the snow. All right, let's see what you got. So I think the Coot will be the lamest because it's the slowest out of the three, but it should be the most capable, I think, in the snow. Forgot to put it in gear. All right, now that we are done absolutely destroying my backyard, we have this fine unit pulled inside here because it's getting dark outside and I wanted to finish up the video. So, this thing, I have a guess, a hypothesis, I guess. So the choke, as you can see right now, it's actually at about half. And that's actually where it has no choke. I must have clocked that wrong, or maybe it was clocked wrong before me. So if you turn it to no choke, it is choked at least halfway. So what I think happened is he probably started it, did that. It was running at half choke, running like crap, and fouled the plug, making it run even worse. Was probably trying to use the electric start to start it a bunch, killed the starter, got really flustered, sent me an angry message, and that's how I ended up with it again. So that's that. And on to the whole Facebook thing. Normally Facebook, in my opinion, is buy as is. It ran when I sold it, so really that's what I should have kept to, but I don't know. I made an exception this time. Kind of a lot of wasted time on my part, just for a fouled spark plug, but it is what it is. Hopefully you guys got some entertainment out of this, or me destroying my backyard with my units. So let me know down below what you guys would have done if any of you have ever taken things back on Marketplace. I've bought hundreds, maybe not quite hundreds of things off Marketplace. I bought a lot of stuff off of Marketplace. Even some stuff that was very obviously damaged and I was lied to when I bought it. And I've never returned anything. So, I don't know. That's how I think Marketplace works. Let me know how you guys think it works. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. It is the absolute middle of winter in Iowa here, so it's kind of hard to film a whole lot of super interesting stuff like auctions or working on semi-trucks or heavy equipment or the stuff you guys really like, reviving skid steers. But we are amidst of a boat build, so that is going to consume me until it starts thawing out a little bit and I can get back to my regular stuff. We are plugging right along. I get the first part out on this thing and almost done with the second part. You can actually see there's an engine sitting in this thing now, so we're plugging right along, and I hope to get back to my regular content here soon enough when we thaw out. Anyway, thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you on the next one.